The Sonic the Hedgehog franchise has a lot of games under its belt. Seriously, I sometimes forget some games even exist, and there's some we wish we could forget. Unfortunately, a lot of those games Sonic has, and which a good chunk are pretty good, are stuck on old hardware, which means you have to resort to two things. One, being dig out your old console and play them, or emulate them.
It's not illegal if you own the game!
There's a problem right there, especially for new fans that again don't have access to play these games. No, Sega, none of these new fans are loading up Dolphin to play the original Sonic Colors, because the recent port of Colors was Colors Ultimate, and, well, do we really need to discuss that?
Moves fast, speeds by.
The predicament still stands when it comes to Sonic's back catalog. That is, if you want to play any Sonic game on the current consoles we have right now, your options are Sonic Mania, Sonic Forces, Team Sonic Racing, Sonic Colors Ultimate, and now we have Sonic Origins with all the classics, as well as now Sonic Frontiers. Now that's quite a bit more than what we had this time a year ago, let's say. But I remember a time where all of Sonic's back catalog was available right at my hands. That being the Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii days. In those times, you could play a good chunk of Sonic's past, especially with the Wii in this situation, because it had backwards compatibility with the GameCube, which had all of Sonic's previous games from every Sega console. I mean, except for Knuckles Chaotix, but whatever. Even on the DS Lite as well, you could play all of Sonic's handheld spin-off games too, those being the Advanced Trilogy and the Rush titles as well. But those are unfortunately stuck on past consoles, until now however. For quite some time now, the Nintendo Switch Online subscription service has finally gotten Game Boy support. And as a Sonic fan I am, I immediately thought of the Advance series. And just the mere fact that we might get the chance to play the Advance games officially on the go again, well, that's just awesome. And that also means those of us who want to play them and don't have to buy them off DK Oldies.
I mean, this cartridge nearly cost me $40 alone. And that's not including what I bought with it.
I spent my grad money on this. Jeez. So with us likely getting Advanced on the Switch, I also bought the box for this game for $60 on eBay. What am I doing with my life? That got me thinking. There are other Sonic ports out there we need for other consoles too. Aside from the Switch possibly getting Sonic ports for the Game Boy, like what I mentioned in my video from 2 months ago, I said that we will be most likely be waiting 3 to 4 years for the next mainline Sonic game. So with us getting a new 2D game, also with remasters possibly happening, not happening but possibly, maybe more, I don't know. What else could we possibly get? Ports. About a year ago, I made a video called Why We Need More Sonic Ports. Today, I would like to make a follow-up video to that and give the Sonic ports we need. These games will mainly consist of games that don't really need a remaster and would work just fine as just a port or in a collection. These are my picks for this. I'm not saying this will happen, I'm not saying it won't happen, but I would very much like to see happen. Anyways, let's get started. The first thing that comes to mind for a port that really needs one is something along the lines of Sonic Riders. Now I know in my remasters video I said I would like to see a remaster of the first Sonic Riders, and as a matter of fact I do have a video on something for Sonic Riders related planned to release soon, so look forward to that. But if Sonic Riders is likely not going to get the remaster treatment, which it most likely isn't, give us a port please, Sega. Riders is such a great game that really would be great to have on modern consoles. Not just the first one, but release all three. Yes, I did say all three, I did not mess up. That third one being Sonic Free Riders. Now I know what you all are doing this very second. I can hear you from here. You're typing in the comments saying, Supercard, no! What are you doing? Why would they re-release that? Well, hold on a second. We can all agree that Free Riders was a bad game. Yes, I agree with you. But what made Free Riders so bad was mainly just the horrible Kinect gameplay. Also those god-awful cutscenes. Jeez, get those out of here. But all I'm saying is, have Free Riders maybe playable with the controller? No, nothing? Okay, forget I said anything. I don't know. I think just having the Riders series just acknowledged more would just be something nice. Even with Free Riders being so bad, you can at least agree with me that the first two were good, right? Right? Regardless, I would love to see the Sonic Riders games that were good in a package of some kind, being like a Sonic Riders collection, or have it in a collection of a lot of Sonic's greatest games and whatnot. Just getting to play what might be the greatest Sonic spin-off series, no, screw that, it is the greatest Sonic spin-off series on modern hardware, is just another great way, not just for us older fans that played them when we were younger to experience them again, but for the newer fans, they could see Sonic's best racing series ever. Yes, I said best, fight me. Either way, having the Riders games ported would just be great to have. Next up for a selection of Sonic ports is the storybook games.
First of all, your Jordans are completely fake.
Yes, I know this is quite the pick, but I do think these have some potential. Here's why. These games are already good. The story is great, and the gameplay could be fixed with one thing: a controller. I recently tried the storybook games via emulation, and they are way better with a controller. Just saying, these two games had a good amount of potential, but the problems that one had where Sonic automatically runs and you have to play via Wiimote tilt,
Why?
and other improving upon that, but having to where you have to shake the Wiimote to attack with your sword,
It's like I'm really attacking the enemies.
which is kind of odd knowing that Unleashed kind of had the same thing as well, where in that game you had to shake the Wiimote to do attacks like homing attacks and boosts as well, also to do werehog combat at night.
Really feeling the burn today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, how many calories am I burning with this thing? Let's see.
But Unleashed for the Wii, you could actually change your controller to either do a GameCube controller or hook up to the classic controller. Yeah, anybody else have one of these? When hooking that up, you can play Sonic Unleashed like every other Sonic game with a controller. Though I don't recommend playing Unleashed like this after you've already played superior boosting games with better controls like Colors or Generations, or even the Xbox version of Sonic Unleashed as well. Reason of is because the button layout makes no sense at all. It's mainly because this is the first Boost 3D game, so they had no idea what to do with, and plus, you gotta remember it's on like a GameCube controller, so they had no clue where to put the buttons, and this was the first time. They didn't know they were gonna bring this back, so I guess that makes sense. I don't know, I'm just trying to come up with a better reason why it's like this. But back to the storybook games, personally, if they were given another shot, and I think if they could just take away the dumb gimmicks with them, and just let us play with the controller, I think we can honestly look at them differently, and they can be much more respected. Next up for ports we need for Sonic is an obvious one, and that is the adventure games. Now, this right here is a top port we need. The adventure games, after all, are Sonic's first two successful jump to 3D adventure games. When it comes to Adventure 2, that game is good to go for a port. Put it in a package and ship it right out, just without the flaws the PC version has. Now, for the first adventure game, the same does not apply. Porting this is not going to go well at all. The most recent Sonic Adventure ports don't look good at all, and they honestly have not aged the best at all, really. And especially the Xbox Arcade version. That version is so broken in so many ways, I can't believe I actually enjoyed this at one point. Supporting the current Sonic Adventure is not going to work at all whatsoever. But there is a little something that could save a Sonic Adventure port, and that is this magic little thing called Dreamcast Conversion Mod. Recently, I played through Sonic Adventure again, except this time I had the Dreamcast Conversion Mod installed, and it made the experience way more enjoyable than when I first played the game on Xbox Live Arcade back when I was a kid. Not only making the graphics look way better and reverting them back to the original, but no more stupid blue borders, models are back to the Dreamcast look in HD. Also, the game doesn't have problems that shouldn't be there at all. You know what, I'm starting to notice a pattern here with Sega and re-releases. Nonetheless, this mod fixes all the problems the modern ports of Sonic Adventure has. So I know that this is kind of a long shot, but what if Sega maybe could contact the developer of the Dreamcast Conversion Mod and maybe, you know, slice a deal? Maybe have them kind of release a Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 packed together ports, and Sonic Adventure can be the Dreamcast Conversion Mod within it. Hey, money talks. It's not entirely impossible either, because Sega seems to like to work with fans, because that's how Sonic Mania was made. Maybe they can include some other changes as well, ones that just aren't just the Dreamcast conversion. Maybe make Big or Amy's stories optional, even though I actually like Amy's story and adventure. Oh, but definitely make Big's optional though. I recently played through that again. My thumb still hurts from having to tilt the controller and press the A button. I hate this story. Make it optional, please. Also, allow Super Sonic to be playable in levels. You know, the way it should have been. This happening isn't really a want. This is how they need to release it, because if they don't, and they release the garbage Sonic Adventure DX port, it isn't going to end well for them, and they know it. Will they? I don't know. Only time will tell. So the final port choices I have for today, and you probably saw this coming a mile and a half away, and that is the Boost games. Look, I know in my remasters video I said that I would like to see a Generations and an Unleashed remaster. While I do stand with that, I personally still think a port is likely the way to go as of right now, mainly due to the fact of what happens when Sega does anything related to remastering or porting, or just re-releasing something in general. Now this could age like cheap beer, and Sega could make a good remaster really soon. But they've yet to prove it. Regardless, having a port of these two Boost games would really be good to have to give these games a better chance with modern hardware. I know Xbox fans, I can hear you typing now saying that I have both of those games on 4K 60 FPS on my Series X. Hey, us PlayStation players and I guess Nintendo players would like to have some of the fun too. So Sega, did what you did for Xbox and make those games playable on the PS5. Then again, Sony won't allow backwards compatibility for some reason. So Sega, release an up-res port to make it better. Give us these ports, Sega. Or just at least give us Unleashed on PC, okay? You put Lost World and Colors Ultimate on there, so what's your excuse now?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again where we're going to do a section of the video where I'm going to read what y'all's picks is for when it comes to this topic of conversation, and that is what Sonic ports we need. I made this post the other week, and saying that, tell me, what Sonic ports do you think we really need for modern consoles? We got some of y'all's responses, and I'm going to read every single one of them. So without further ado, let's get started with it, alright? That wasn't supposed to happen. First one comes from DebugBoy5252. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 fully reimagined. Yeah, I said that right. No, it's reimagined. My bad. They're amazing games, and with little fixes, a new momentum-based engine and brand new graphics would be amazing. Plus, Iizuka said he wanted to do SA3, so it would be good to have. It'd be good to have the anyway. I think he meant to say that, but it would be good to have the anyway. I also think Unleashed would be good, but for me personally, I have Xbox backwards compatibility and can play SA1, SA2, Unleashed, and Generations. The ones that need remastered the most are the adventure games, whereas for Sonic Unleashed, they literally just have the port for the Series X version. It has no slowdown, smoother gameplay, and everything. So I think SA1, SA2 should be remastered first. Alright. Pretty interesting pick. I mean, that's kind of obvious. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of these Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 ones on here. And yes, you're lucky. You got Xbox. So, yeah, some of us PlayStation players, we ain't so lucky. So be grateful. I'm just messing with you. But, I'm just, in all seriousness, good response. Let's see what the next one is. Second one comes from Albit. Gens and Unleashed are the only two likely to happen. Anything else would probably get a remake. You're not wrong, and honestly. You're not wrong, in all honesty. But what I said, kind of like with the adventure stuff earlier, I think that could happen. I don't know. But you do bring up a good point. Next one comes from Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Blue. I want a remaster of Sonic Unleashed because that used to be my favorite game before Sonic Colors Ultimate. Because of my favorite Sonic game. Edit, Sonic Frontiers is now my favorite game on the franchise. I mean, pretty interesting pick, but I said a port, not a remaster, but that's fine. Next one comes from I don't know how to pronounce that. SA1, 2, Unleashed, 06, and a segment where you can watch the 2 movies and maybe an early trailer for the 3rd movie for extra. Wait, what? Hold on, I'm a little confused here. Alright. I'm a little confused there. You had me for a second, but now we're like full on saying where you can watch the 2 movies. I'm sorry, what? Next one comes from, I can't pronounce that name either. Sonic 3D Origins, SA1, SA2, Heroes, and Shadow. Okay, the first 2 are good, but then you kind of lost me on those last 2. Overall, decent pick. Next one comes from Terminal Aptos, Sonic Unleashed, and Sonic Generations. And those were the last 2 I just said. Obviously, like I said, when it came to those 2 I just mentioned, those were no-brainers. Those have to be done. Some of these are all the same, so I'm going to skip over some of these. Some of them say SA1, SA2, Heroes, and Shadow the Hedgehogs. And Shadow the Hedgehogs. And another one says like Adventure 1 and 2 remake and whatnot. And then another one says Unleashed. And then Knuckles Chaotix. That's actually one that I actually kind of agree with actually quite a bit. Because I actually stated I want this in Sonic Origins Plus actually in this video right here. I wanted this because Knuckles Chaotix is probably one of the most underrated classic Sonic games. It needs another chance in the spotlight. I get it, it's flawed. But still, it's just something nice to have, you know? And then we have one more, and then that is Sonic 06 Ultimate. Zero Saber, I don't think the world is ready for that yet. I don't think we're ready for this yet, alright? And that is all of your all's votes of what you said you'd like to see when it came to Sonic ports for the future. Thank you so much for leaving your answers. It was really cool just to see what y'all had in mind. It was really cool to interact with you guys. Maybe we can do this in the future again sometime. We did it once before. Maybe we could do it some more. I don't know. But I found it kind of fun. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I will see you all in the next one. Until then, everyone, I love you all. Take care, everyone.